All right, joining us now is Jennifer Say, the former brand president of Levi's, who famously left $1 million on the table over her values. Jennifer, good to have you on tonight. Now, you left San Francisco last year, so you can't be surprised about what happened this week with those 3 school board members being thrown out of office. But are you surprised that so many Democrats now are speaking openly, even to members of the media, about what finally broke them?
Well, I will say I'm not surprised that the school board was recalled. It's a campaign that was started about a year ago. I know some of the folks that started it. I am surprised it was this decisive. I mean, it was 70-30. So, that is surprising to me. And the reason it's surprising is I was outspoken about school closures in San Francisco since March of 2020. And I certainly felt like I was in the significant minority. But what this says to me is that there was a silent majority of parents that were incredibly frustrated, outraged that schools were closed for 7 months. And they showed up and they voted in the special election to recall in a really, truly decisive manner. And I think this is causing people to rethink party alignment. For me, it's not even about party. I'm going to vote for candidates that support the causes that I care about. I'm an independent now that I got to Colorado. I'm going to vote for the candidates. I'm not going to pledge loyalty to any particular party. I'm going to vote for candidates that connect with me and support the causes that matter to me.
Was it more than just the school closures? Did the things that motivated the voters to turn out in such a large percentage to recall these recall these members? Were they annoyed by some of the other bit of focus that the board had during this time, like renaming a bunch of schools and that kind of stuff? Did that play into it as well?
Oh, 100%. I was calling in to school board meetings. They lasted 7, 8, 9 hours. I often got bored and gave up. But they didn't even talk about getting schools open until the last half hour. They'd spend hours and hours on renaming schools. Okay, maybe valid, maybe not, but certainly not in the middle of a crisis when schools have been closed for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, a year, and kids are really suffering. So, they just showed no urgency on the matter, and it's a true dereliction of duty. They're elected by the people of San Francisco. They are responsible for the children, and they are responsible to the families in San Francisco. But that is not who they answered to. They were answering to the teachers' unions.
They were enormously haughty, and the unions really were calling the shots across the country in a lot of states. Not every school district, but a lot in the states that refused to open. And you saw this repeatedly, that the sort of diversity, equity, inclusion, new curricula was being kind of shoehorned in during this period of, remote learning and teachers at home and some teachers in. But that was a real opportunity, I think a lot of activists thought they had, because everyone was so overwhelmed with the virus, we can do this other stuff. Do you find that to be the case?
I think the naming of the schools was such a flashpoint because, it was just absurd. The rationale for renaming was wrong in many instances. It was an insane number. They were renaming Dianne Feinstein Elementary. She's a sitting senator, like her or not. We just elected her. Our state had just elected her.
That's crazy.
It didn't make sense. I really do think it was a referendum on the closures and the lack of focus on getting schools open and the just intractability. I think that was the driver. Absolutely. And, I know a ton of people there still. I don't know a single person that didn't vote to recall. And I will say this about teachers. I know a ton of teachers who were also pushing for open schools. So I don't think it's a uniform bunch. I know a lot of teachers who saw the harms, but were afraid to speak out and go against what, the position the union was officially taken. But
eventually the voters, eventually there are a lot of great teachers.
I don't want to group all teachers in.
Now, I have a lot of teachers in my family, and I have a lot of teachers in my family, and I totally agree with you. But this was a bridge too far, and we'll see where this goes from here. We're going to be anxiously following it. But Jennifer, you stood with your principles and you left big money on the table, and we really appreciate your joining us tonight. Thank you.